to a brand new episode of NH Unscripted, you lucky listeners. I am your host, Ray Dudley. I got the Nehru jacket on, my bell-bottom pants, and my platform shoes. Your job is to kick back on the waterbed. Make sure you got the heater on. Yeah, fire up the incense, light that lava lamp, because we're going deep today. Another good reason to get out of bed, get those jammies off. We are coming to you from the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. My God, it's cavernous in here. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester, and nhtalkradio.com is our URL. I'll tell you a little bit later what's going on out there. But I do need to thank my sponsor. We are so proud and happy to have the law offices of Shaheen and Gordon as our sponsor. My goodness, I don't know if I'm sure I mentioned it before, but there was some voting that went on for Manchester Media Group's Best Of. And Shaheen Gordon won gold for the employment law. Gold. I'm talking gold. Doesn't get better than gold. Does it get better than gold? No, it doesn't get better than gold. 603-614-5560. That's their phone number. ShaheenGordon.com is their website. And I intend they do it all. They do it all. And they're so good to us here. I periodically ask them questions, and it's so nice of them to answer. Write it down. ShaheenGordon.com is their website. 603-614-5560. Because everyone should know a good lawyer. We're going to talk a little bit about some injuries maybe today. You might need a good lawyer. Anyway, write it down. Put it on your fridge. ShaheenGordon.com, 603-614-5560. Okay. I have found this crazy rabbit hole. And so I had to have a return visit from the folks from the Capital Area Beekeepers Association. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Heather and Jamie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for putting up with all of my nonsense. How are things in the beekeeping world?
Wonderful. It was a beautiful day yesterday. The ladies were out
Yeah?
in full force.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It was a wonderful day.
So I meant to ask both of you. I don't think I did the last time. Do you both have hives?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yes.
Yep.
You do. How many?
Right now, I'm working 6 hives at my house, and then we have also 6 hives at the governor's mansion.
Oh. Which you take care of? The association
Our
takes
club,
care of?
yeah.
Yeah?
And I have 5 myself.
You do. You do.
Yes, sir.
Are they? I don't even know where to start. Because it's such a fascinating genre. It's such a fascinating subject. I started off just by looking out on YouTube for like just mom and pop beekeeping situations, and then the next thing I know, I'm into like industrial. I'm into these like almost mafia-like conditions where they're buying this stuff in like these the big totes and then the 55-gallon drums, and
Yeah.
I'm like, where does this go? What?
Well, you asked how are things in beekeeping right
Yes.
now? It's a really busy time of year. The bookends of beekeeping, like spring and fall,
Yep.
are super busy because we're getting our hives ready for winter. The bees are getting ready for winter, and so we need to make sure they have all the food that they need to make it through the winter, and we're pulling honey off the hives, and now if they need supplemental feeding, that's what we're into. And so
How many times a year do you draw honey? Is it just like 1 or 2 times, or do you just it's whenever it's ready? How do you figure that out?
well sometimes people do it differently. So you ask beekeepers how they do something, you're
Yeah.
going to get different.
You get a different answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it based on then?
Well, so some people, this gets complicated super fast. So
it's just you and me, Heather.
just
so.
okay. So some people, I do wildflower honey.
Yep.
Right. You could pull that off in the. So we have nectar flows here in New Hampshire in the spring when
Okay.
flowers start to bloom. You could take that summer honey, right? Take that off the hive in the early summer and bottle that. I personally just wait until fall and take all of the honey off in the fall because I don't want to do it twice. I don't want to process it twice.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You just wait all year long and do it once a year?
Yeah.
You too, Jim?
I took a early spring harvest from
Yeah.
my hives because I had a couple that were that failed through the winter, so I had all this honey that I needed to extract out of there. So I took an early spring harvest, and then I just recently took my honey supers off for processing within the last week.
Okay. My little mind here, just hang with me here. Hang with me. So I see where people go out in there, and correct me if I'm wrong on anything I say today. They go out and they check their hives, I don't know, every week, once a week,
Yeah.
or every couple of weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Are they just, I thought they were looking to see if I don't know the terminology, all the different things were filled.
Yep, the honeycomb, you're going to look for eggs,
Yeah.
larvae,
Yeah.
capped brood. You're going to hopefully maybe see the queen, but it's not necessary.
Okay, and do they, when they, let's say you're just a homeowner, a little homesteader, and you're looking, is it possible for them to get more than 2 harvests a year?
Sure. I mean, you can, when you're going and doing inspections in your hive every week or bi-weekly, depending on where you are in the summer, you could be taking full frames of honey each time if you wanted to do that, if you had that in your hive, and then just put in an empty frame for them to start filling again. When you're doing inspections weekly or bi-weekly throughout the summer, you're really checking to make sure you're queen right. That's what it means when you're seeing eggs and larvae, etc., because you have to have a queen in the hive.
Forgive me for I'm typing while she's talking, so I don't want to seem like I'm ignorant here. Just
No.
go ahead. I'm not avoiding you.
So you're making sure that you're queen right.
Yep.
And you're also checking the health of the hive. So you want to make sure that your larva looks healthy. You want to make sure that there's no viruses in there, and you are also checking to make sure that you have no mites. So we're doing mite checks monthly, typically.
Okay, I have that on one of my other notes that I wanted to. There's so many. I mean, we could spend days
Yes.
talking. I mean,
Yes.
it's just that crazy of a subject. I mean, I love honey, and I love the taste of it. I told you I use it in my coffee every morning.
Yeah.
I actually use 2 versions. I have the regular honey, just like you brought today, and then I have a one that I made hot honey, and I add in a tablespoon of that as well. And I've really gotten spoiled over that, the sweetness and the heat from that too.
Yeah.
It's been tremendous. But when a homesteader, they get their first box, and I know this, it's a setup. It's a system kind of thing. God, I'm going to seem like I'm ignorant, even though I just spent hours and days just out on YouTube. It looks intimidating, but then once they kind of get it going, it seems as though it's not so intimidating anymore. You kind of get used to the whole going out and checking this stuff. Everybody's got their smoker and their little tool to move the, what are they called? The little, where the honeycombs are on the
frames?
Yes, frames.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks. I thought it had a more technical name than that, because I know there's soups and I know there's boxes. And I did ask Jamie, I sent you some questions like, what is an entrance reducer and a queen excluder? And I do want to get into some of that stuff. Yeah, that's just me. Like, what in the world is going on here? All these particular things. We just kind of see boxes out in fields and think, oh, they're just out there, bees just playing around. But
So the great part of beginning a hive in the early spring is, we talked in our last episode about getting a bee package.
Yes.
And dumping the bees in and then closing them up and making sure that they have sufficient food, because they're a brand new hive. They're just now starting out, so they need food, so you need to feed them. So then in 10 days when you go out, you see that they've drawn out honeycomb. They're drawing wax already, feverishly. They're taking that sugar water and they're turning it into wax byproduct from their body.
Fascinating.
And they're drawing that wax out as fast as they can because that queen wants to lay. And she needs those cells to start laying those eggs.
Yeah, oh my God.
And the bees know what they're doing.
Which is another whole fascinating subject. All right, hang on. I know that you're hopelessly devoted to us. I am your Olivia Newton-John like host, Ray Dudley. We're coming to you from the YMCA-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. Heather Moynihan, did I get your last name correct? Yeah.
Moynihan.
Okay, and Jamie Jobin are here from the Capital Area Beekeepers Association, here too to be known as CABA, for those of you who think maybe I'm speaking incorrectly. Oh, okay, we'll be right. I got a million questions. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I know you're happy to be out of your jammies today. Yeah. I'm your girl watcher like host, Ray Dudley. Yeah, can you still say that? I don't even know if you can say that anymore. I'm your occasion like host, Ray Dudley. Coming to you from the Hollywood Square-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. And we're talking beekeeping and honey. Okay, so I asked you how many times you could get a harvest. And for some unknown reason, I thought you could maybe get a harvest a month, because that's my ignorance. I just assume bees are out there doing what they do, and they're not on any time frame themselves. They just do what they do. But you said, Heather, that you...
Yeah, okay, so there are, I make wildflower honey because I don't know where my bees are going. They're visiting whatever flowers are available to them.
Yep.
We talked in our last episode about these, large commercial beekeepers that truck their bees all over the country. When you do pollination services like that, you know that your bees are on blueberry plants. And when your bees are on blueberry plants and they're working those plants, because that's what you are there for, you can take those hives back and let the bees cap that honey and harvest that, and then that is blueberry honey. And I'm not talking you took wildflower honey and you infused it with blueberry flavor.
Okay.
It is the honey from the blueberry plants. And so then you can sell that as blueberry honey.
What?
Yeah. And it's not wildflower honey. It's not a mixture of all different kinds of flowers. It is blueberry.
Can I see that for a second?
You can see it.
She brought a sample.
Yeah, and that's not my honey from my hives. There's a large commercial beekeeper that has like 30,000 hives in Billerica.
Wait, did you just say 30,000?
In Billerica, Mass. And they sell all different flavors of honey. I have a raspberry one. I have an orange blossom.
Wow.
They have locust.
This is darker than typical honey that Jamie brought.
And then, do you know Japanese knotweed, the invasive species?
My wife knows it very well.
Yeah, Japanese knotweed.
Oh my, that's almost black. Let
Yeah.
me see.
Yes.
Wow.
And you can taste them later.
Each nectar has its own color spectrum.
Because of the pollen.
Man. Mm-hmm. So see, I would just think it's all one color and then it changes over the season.
No. And when you taste those, you're going to find out that, and I have some in there that, like, one is almost white. It's almost clear. And that's from the locust tree.
Yeah?
Yep. And you're going to find that some are
crazy.
super mild and some are, that knotweed almost tastes like molasses.
It looks like molasses.
Yeah, they all have really different flavor profiles.
Crazy.
It's like wine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to jump in. I'll randomly hit things. I was wondering about filtration. And only because I was looking at the different kind of, I don't want to call them levels, but maybe I'll call them grades of honey, maybe. Can you talk a little bit about honey that you don't even hardly filter at all the way up to honey that you can still say it's like not processed, but it's been filtered. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you buy honey at the grocery store, that's pasteurized. So they heat that honey, and so when you do that, you have to sell it in the grocery store. Well, not us. A corporation is going to heat the honey and pasteurize it. So you're killing the enzymes that are naturally in honey. What most beekeepers like us do is we filter it through a fine mesh sieve or like cheesecloth or something like that. And that's just raw filtered honey to take out large particles. Pollen will get through, small pieces of pollen, but what you're filtering out are big pieces of wax, debris, bee parts, bee legs.
Unfortunately, you might have a bee leg.
Yeah. So you're filtering out that kind of stuff, and you want your honey to be. If you were entering into a honey contest, you would want your honey to be a nice color. You'd want it to be clear, like you could see through it, and that's what judges are looking for in a honey contest.
First of all, thank you. I
didn't
did not know. No, I did not know. I did not know that there was contests.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you don't want to see things floating in it.
Right.
Thank you. But yet, some people do, right? What am I holding right here, Jamie?
This is raw honeycomb suspended in honey. So that is cut right out of a different type of hive that I have. It's called a top bar, which is a horizontal hive versus your traditional vertical hives, which is normally what you see on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So it's a different type of hive. So it allows me to harvest that wax comb because there's no foundation that the bees have built onto. It's purely, truly natural honeycomb.
This was like hanging from something?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's just, instead of putting a frame into the box where it already has an imprint of honeycomb.
Yep.
It's just a bar, and you set it on the top, and the bees know what to do.
Yeah.
They build comb suspended down from that stick, that bar.
And people want that. Is that
absolutely?
Yeah. I saw a guy actually eat some of this on one YouTube.
Yes.
They cut it for him in a square like this, and he just chewed on it. He just ate
exactly. You take a piece, you cut it off, and you put it in your mouth, and you chew it, kind of like bubble gum.
Yeah.
The wax will warm up, and it will stick to itself in your mouth, kind of like bubble gum.
Yeah.
And then you get to enjoy all that wonderful, raw, unfiltered honey.
Are there other benefits to this as opposed to something that just the regular honey that you've got in a jar?
I mean, some people like the texture of the wax, and that wax will be very fine. It's not going to be, it's not too bulky or anything like that. You can chop it up and put it in a salad. You can spread it on warm toast, and then the wax kind of melts into it. You can put it with cheese. It's really good with cheese.
This honeycomb?
Yeah. Or you can just spit it out if you don't like it, or you can, after you eat the honey out of it, you just spit it out if you don't want to swallow it, or you just swallow it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you.
So this is what people never see for the most part, right? When they go and they're buying honey at the stand or whatever.
Correct. You could probably find something like that in a local co-op or a farmer's market.
Farm stand.
Yeah.
Some people
is there much demand for it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Some people sell it in a square, cellophane box.
Yeah.
And it's flat. It'll be like a little deli box, square. Small.
Yeah.
Or they sell it in a round wooden package. Those are called Ross rounds. And that's what you're making it in. And you actually put a cartridge in your beehive that has round holes in it. And the bees will make that a shape like that in a circle. And then when you harvest that, you just cut those circles out and you slide it right into the box.
What?
Yeah.
What? The technology's crazy.
There's a million ways you can spend money when you're a beekeeper, buying all that equipment.
Yeah.
So that's my last jar of that raw
It is?
honeycomb. Yeah, I had 10 of them, and it's spoken for. So
Really?
it goes like this. Yeah.
Really? What, and they just eat it? That's so whoever bought this is going to take it home and just open this jar and eat the honeycomb thing
Correct.
that I would normally want filtered out, right?
Well, they
That-
could use a spoon, and it's obviously suspended in honey, so
Yeah.
they'll use the honey and also the wax as they choose.
Gosh. Oh
So
my
we
gosh.
have, we have a Facebook page, and people are constantly messaging us through our Facebook page. Do you know where I can get
What?
honeycomb?
So what happens to it if people don't buy it? Do you just keep it around waiting for someone to want it? I mean,
I don't know if that's a possibility because I'm always
never
sold
happened.
out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
there's that many people who want that.
Yeah, so early spring I harvested 6 gallons of honey. 6 gallons. Picture that in your mind.
I cannot.
And I'm down to my my last 2 jars.
Glad
that
I got my
brought
order
for
in
you.
early.
Yeah, you got your order in.
I had 300 pounds of honey last year.
Come on.
300 pounds.
Come on. Pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was 13 or somewhere between 13 and 15 gallons. I can't remember.
That's insane.
I had the big, huge 5-gallon buckets all on my counter.
Wow, wow. I know we're not going to get through that. I am so glad we're not going to get through it because I certainly love this conversation. You are listening to NH Unscripted, and when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, yeah, all the pigeons are going to run to him. Don't ask me why. I am your Manford Man-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Hollywood Squares-like digs, the WKXL studios in Concord. I love sitting in the center square. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. Yeah, we're talking beekeeping and honey, because that's the kind of people we are. We will be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. Oh, my. I wish I had my beekeeper suit on. Looks like a hazmat suit.
We'll bring one for you next time.
Thanks. Oh, we are coming to you from the dating game-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. The gracious folks from CABA, the Capital Area Beekeepers Association, are gracing the studio again today, and they will be back because this is seeming like a bottomless subject, and it's a fascinating one for me. Heather Moynihan. Heather, what's your position there? Are you president?
I'm the president.
President of CABA. Jamie, your newsletter
editor.
Thank you, sir. How do people get the newsletter?
Through our membership. You have to be a member
Got
to
you.
get our newsletter because
Got
it's
you.
a private publication.
And how would they become a member?
Signing up through our URL,
Which would be?
CapitalAreaBeekeepers.org.
Thank you.
and they would pay their $25.
Our
Sorry.
dues just went up $5 whole.
Yeah.
No
$5,
kidding.
yeah.
Oh, did you sweat about how you're going to break that news to
No,
people?
I ripped my credit card out right away and signed right up. Yeah, so $25.
That's
so
cheap money.
and come all year long and learn and be a friend.
Now, you have certain dates. I don't know if they're every month, but when you have like
We do.
classes or meetings
We
or
have
stuff.
a meeting every month. It's the second Wednesday of the month here in Concord
Yep.
at the Crestwood Community Center in the Crestwood neighborhood.
Right.
And then you have schools or classes?
We have a bee school every January, February. It's held over 2 Saturdays, 2 sequential Saturdays. And it's like a full Saturday and then the next full Saturday. And we go through a number of lessons, topics that are taught by members of the club or other expert beekeepers in the area. And people will learn kind of about we invite a local equipment supplier to come and go through all of the equipment, all of those nice ways that you can spend money.
Yeah.
And then we talk about bee biology. We talk about safety,
Pests.
pests, yeah.
Pests, diseases.
Pests
Yeah.
and
I'll
diseases,
bet.
so health. We talk about how to do an inspection and things like that. And then because you don't have none of these people, most of the people that come don't have bees yet. They kind of forget by the time they get their bees. And so we do like a Zoom refresher right before the bees come. And then every month, we do it the third Saturday of the month, we have an open hive day at our apiary so that new beekeepers can come and they actually can do the work in our apiary. And
Sort of a hands-on workshop?
Absolutely
Yeah.
hands-on.
Nice.
And an experienced beekeeper will work with small groups around our 6 hives at the apiary so that they can...
Where is the apiary?
It's at the Governor's Mansion, which is Bridges House on Mountain Road in Concord.
How many hives are up there?
6.
6 hives.
So I would just want to temporarily just take a little detour here. So when you get your bees, which I don't know how they're so resilient. They mail them to you. They mail them to you, folks.
They can.
Wrap your head around that. The U.S. Postal Service.
It's kind of like baby chicks. You get baby chicks in the mail too, right?
I'll take your word for that.
How would you like to be the mailman or
No.
the UPS guy with a box that says live bees?
I cannot. I mean, they mail them to you. And then, you're using smoke to, like, calm them down when you're doing certain things around the hive. And I'm trying to think. They're so resilient on one level. And yet, we're having problems keeping up the population. I thought I saw somewhere where if you have multiple hives, you can end up with like 1 billion bees. Is that true?
You know what's interesting, because when I first started beekeeping, I said, okay, 2. I want 2 hives.
Yep.
Well, 2 turned into 3 because I had a swarm, and then 3 turned into 4 because one of my hives was so large I had to split it to keep them contained so that they wouldn't swarm. And then it turned into 5. That's how it happens.
How many bees would that be? I mean, potentially you're talking millions, right? If you've got enough hives there.
Think of the population in a hive. So
Yep.
the colony size in the spring, it's low, right?
Yep.
Maybe 10,000 bees, and then it starts to ramp up, right? So you're going kind of up a curve, and in late June, early July, maybe is in our area is the height of the population.
Okay.
So maybe it's 60,000, 50 or 60,000. And then
Per hive?
Per hive.
Per hive.
And then it starts to go down. So if you have,
30,000. I mean, that's a huge.
okay, yeah. So
That's a continent.
and
of bees.
but so that beekeeper, I'm going to call it an operation
Yes,
at that
yes.
point, right? They don't keep them all up here. So they have multiple sites, like in Florida or whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
So they will overwinter them down there, and then in the spring they start to move them around the country. So they'll go to California and they'll pollinate the almonds, and then they truck them different places. Maybe they go to Michigan and they do blueberries up there, cherries,
Who would have thought
apples,
bees were
pumpkins.
that versatile? You just truck them around.
Yeah.
Think about the orange trees, the orange groves.
Yep.
Somebody's got to pollinate them.
But they truck them in to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the farmers who own those crops,
Yeah.
they're not tending bees too, unless it's a small.
They don't have their own, like, bee service.
They pay
Forgive me,
for
but-
it.
No, they pay
Wow.
for it.
They pay for it.
Wow.
Yes, it's big money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jamie, you brought in some infused honey.
I did.
You did.
I brought in 5 different
God
flavors,
bless you.
and I brought some spoons so you can sample this. But our listeners unfortunately don't get to partake in this. But I did bring a ginger, a lavender, a clove, rosemary, and a hot honey, which I heard you kind of like.
I do.
I didn't hear him say he brought the bourbon honey.
I did not.
What?
I would like to do a bourbon honey. That would be really great.
Oh my! So let's talk about infusing honey. So some people are afraid that if moisture gets involved with the honey, it could create a problem. What's the process you use for?
So yes, what you just said about introducing moisture into honey
Yep.
Can raise, obviously, the moisture content up into the fermentation stage, which is what you do not want.
Okay.
So when I infuse any of my honeys, from my experience, because everybody does beekeeping and honey differently, I use dry herbs or floral
I can see
notes,
that. Okay.
so that I'm not introducing any moisture into there. So it will take about 2 weeks for that flavor to get infused.
Okay.
And basically, I'll take my lavender leaves and I will add a really great heaping tablespoon to this little 4-ounce jar. And every day when I walk by it, I flip the jar over because it will float.
Sure.
Because it hasn't absorbed the moisture that is contained within the honey.
Yeah.
So it takes about 2 weeks for those flavors to be infused in the honey.
Even your ginger is dried ginger that you would use?
I actually grew my own ginger.
Of course.
And then dehydrated it.
I'm proud of you.
And then I used those ginger wedges into my honey because it doesn't have any moisture.
Yeah. Do some take longer than others to absorb the?
Yes, and it's you really have to play with your infusions of how strong you want the flavor.
Yeah.
Some people take the herbs out, they filter it back out, and they just leave the honey there so they can spread it on their toast or their muffins or their bread or whatever they're using it for. I tend to leave it in there because it just continues to add flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And lavender, you can eat lavender.
My wife has lavender honey.
It's just delicious.
It is. It is. That's an understatement. Let's talk about heat involved in infusing here. I'm confused over heat in honey. I see places that quote the 105 degrees, and then I was watching some Alabama hot sauce guy who was about to put capsaicin into his because he wanted to make a hot honey, and so he's using... And then he was heating his to 140, saying he didn't want to get higher than 140 because it would disrupt. And I'm like, wait,
it's too
what
hot.
Happened to the 105?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. So the maximum temperature really is between 98 and 104. So that's your range on.
So my
on
coffee's
your
killing my
max.
honey.
Unfortunately, it is killing some of those enzymes
I'm gonna cry.
and the photochemicals that are within the honey.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't make it unhealthy for you. It's not toxic. It's not dangerous.
Yeah.
But it does alter those enzymes for
Man,
you. But you're still getting
yeah.
the benefits of your honey.
Well, I was thinking I was getting I couldn't get all the nice benefits if I'm... What's my coffee's at like 160?
A spoonful of raw honey every day.
Oh, I do it before bed too. That's just a little secret. It's too personal. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I know you're smiling just like all of us in here. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Where are we? Oh, we're at the Car 54 like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Man, we got 1 block to go. Where's the time gone? Heather Moynihan and Jamie Jobin from the Capital Area Beekeepers Association are in the house. And time just goes like that. 1 block to go. All right, we're going to do our best to get through it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. Yeah, I got you, babe. I am your sunny and chair-like host, Ray Dudley, coming to you from the honeymooner-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkman. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL, where should you happen to get up 2-3 in the morning and you need a friend, NHTalkRadio.com. You'll find archives of this, what should be an award-winning show, along with, I hear there's other great programs that take place here. Yeah, I'll take their word for it. Yeah. You can go out there, NHTalkRadio.com. This show airs every Wednesday and Friday morning at 9 a.m. with, I'm happy to announce, they're going to start replaying this our show every Wednesday and Friday evening at 8 p.m. Yeah, the good news just keeps on coming. We're talking honey and beekeeping today. I am fascinated by this. Absolutely fascinated. We were talking about temperatures. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the temperature thing here, how it can and can't
Sure.
work in your favor?
So honey, you can warm honey
Yep.
safely. When you get up past 104 degrees, 105, that's when you're starting to alter the true benefits of the honey, the enzymes and the photochemicals that are within honey. So it doesn't mean that it's unsafe or toxic to you. You're just reducing some of the health benefits that natural honey will bring to you.
Do you do that? Do you warm up your honey when you're going to infuse it, or you just dump it
No.
in the cold? No.
Right, cold,
Really?
just cold.
You don't think that the warmth helps at all then? I mean, I'm not...
You could, but why would I heat my
I have
honey
no idea.
and take the chance of altering? No,
Got you.
I want
I see.
everything.
I got your point there.
So there is a purpose for warming honey to 140 degrees, and that is when you're making creamed honey. So if you've ever had honey that is
It's on my
the
list to
thick,
talk about.
yeah, okay. So the method of making creamed honey is you do warm the honey to 140 degrees, and you're doing that because you want all, like, let's say Jamie was going to take those big bottles of his honey, and I was going to take big bottles of my honey, and I was going to make creamed honey with it.
Yep.
I would heat that honey to 140 degrees to make sure there was absolutely zero crystallization, because all raw honey will crystallize.
Yeah,
Does
I was
not
gonna
mean it's
talk to you
gone
about that
bad.
as well.
It doesn't mean it's gone bad. It just is the natural sugars in honey will crystallize over time. And depending on what kind of flowers are in there, or, what the bees visited, they all have a different sugar content. And some will crystallize faster than others. So you want to make sure your honey has zero crystals in there when you're going to start with creamed honey. You heat it to 140, you cool it very quickly, and then you use a starter seed, they call it, which is crystals from another honey, and you get those ground up real small, and then you add it to your honey, and you whip it. Some people
Whip it.
use a drill with like a
I've
paddle,
seen that.
like
like the paint.
like a paint
stirring.
panel.
Yeah.
And you whip it until it's that creamy consistency, and then you have to store it. You jar it back up, put it in a tub or whatever, and then you have to store it below, I think it's 70 degrees.
So it stays that thickness.
It stays that thickness, and then if it heats up, it'll just liquefy again.
Turn back to what we know as honey, what we think of as honey.
Yeah.
Is there controversy over this crystallization thing? I saw on one of my YouTube ventures this thing about how you can tell good honey, real honey, from fake honey,
No,
and adulterated honey. And
The grocery store honey is gonna, you buy it in the Bear in the grocery store, and it's going to crystallize as well. So all honey is going to crystallize. It just means that the sugars have kind of reformed,
Yeah.
Adulterated honey is if somebody has fed the bees sugar syrup. They've
Yeah.
made syrup out of sugar and water. They have fed that to the bees. The bees will take that, and they will, by the same process that they do with nectar, they will turn it into, quote, honey.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not, because it has not come from flowers.
Interesting. Jim, you have a preference when you infuse it? Do you lean towards one flavor over another? Are you partial towards? My wife, I love the lavender and my hot honey.
I'm actually experimenting with all of them.
Yeah.
I usually take half a teaspoon and spread it on my English muffin in the morning just to try the different flavors. Clove, clove has a really great zing to it for me. But so far I like them all.
Clove. I hadn't thought about clove. Oh,
It's right
that's
there.
an interesting.
It's right there. You can try it later.
Yeah. Has it got any spicy? Is it a?
It's got a little heat to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Does it turn it color as well? Does it because of the?
Yeah, it adds a little brown to it.
Yeah. Do you prefer the full like clove, or do you use a powder?
I have both, actually. I have about 4 or 5 cloves in there, but I actually wanted to add the powder also.
Yep.
The ground clove
Yep.
in there.
Oh, I have so many questions. Let's talk with there's this movement online. Oh, well, I shouldn't say online. I'm guessing for different types of hives.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the regular Langstroth.
Langstroth.
Thank
Langstroth.
you. And then there's these flow hives.
Oh, gosh.
And then there's these other ones that are like sheds that have almost like drawers that pull in and out of the building.
AZ hives.
Is that what they're?
Yeah. They're from Slovenia, and it is like a cabinet. You can build them into a shed, and you go in your shed, and you have these little doors, and you open the door like a cabinet.
Yeah.
And instead of the frames being in a box, like the way Jamie and I are working our bees, you don't have to unstack the boxes, which gets very heavy. You open the door, and the frames slide in.
Crazy.
like a book on a bookshelf.
Right.
And that's
Wow.
what's nice about it is like you can kind of build a counter in front of them and just have your tools on the counter. And so it's from a maintenance perspective, it's easy in one respect that you're not lifting things and stuff, but you cannot expand. You can't put another box on top.
It's very limiting.
It's limiting. So swarming is something that you have to really think about. Those are the beekeepers that are going to be pulling those full frames of honey every time to make sure that the queen has space to lay.
This is crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, you kind of frowned when I mentioned the flow hives. Why?
I think it's a little
what's the
gimmicky.
discussion there?
Not everybody's a fan of them.
Yes.
Sure.
Because what's the downside?
well,
they look fascinating.
They look fascinating. To me, like, the bees have done a lot of work, right, to make that comb
Yes.
in the honey part. So a flow hive is a regular box on the bottom, a Langstroth box, and that's where the bees are building their brood nest. So where the queen is laying and the bees are raising the baby bees. And on the top is this contraption where the bees have to build honeycomb and fill it with honey. And then what the beekeeper is doing is turning a knob,
Yep.
breaking it, and draining the honey out of it.
Yep.
Now, when we harvest our honeycomb, we're taking the top layer, it's called the cappings, off,
Yep.
and we're spinning it in our extractor, and we give that frame back to the bees, and they can fill it again and put more cappings on it. So we're trying not to destroy all of the work that they've done to build that honeycomb, because it takes 8 pounds of sugar or something like that to make 1 pound of wax. So the bees have to expend a lot of energy to build that comb back up. And so I don't know. I don't like it.
You're breaking their comb. You're
Yeah.
breaking it in half, basically.
Yeah, I've seen how it splits.
And now they
it
have to
when
repair all that.
So is that just extra work for them, or is it just unnatural for them, or what? Why is that a negative?
Well,
Because they're going to build a hive anyway, right? Aren't they going to build?
But it is a
combs
lot of work for
there?
them.
Yeah.
So the way we do it, when we scrape the cappings off, those cells, the wax comb is still intact. So there's no damage to them, and you can feed that right back. And any residual honey that's in those cells, they're going to go in there and clean it all up.
Got you. Which is
And start all over again with bringing that nectar in.
yeah.
And every beekeeper has different beliefs on the way they want to do it. So, I mean, I can't talk down to any beekeeper that wants to do that. It's not for me.
Well, this is a crush method, too. You take the wax comb out, and you just scrape it all off, and you crush it, and then you strain it all. And then the bees have to start all over again.
And I wouldn't do that either.
I agree.
I can't believe that. Our hour
time's
went.
up.
I know. Oh, I'm the devil with the blue dress on. Yeah, I'm your Mitch Ryder-like host, Ray Dudley, coming to you from the Gong Show-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Days like today are why I love doing this. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Heather, can you give us your URL real quickly?
CapitalareaBeekeepers.org.
Yeah, you know they're coming back. Yeah, they're coming back. All right, see you next time.